I am the chicken whisperer. Thanks to my dear son Jean Paul for sending me this chicken related chapeau. Let me do that. Uh, now, I know I posted a Syrinx and Pan little poster this morning because the reading today from Heart of the Master is at that section right toward the very end that's called Syrinx and Pan. Now, to briefly remind us, the Heart of the Master was written or received. Well, actually, it was written by Crowley in the 20s. Actually, when he was crossing the Mediterranean, uh, when it finally dawned on him that all of the magical experiences and initiations he had gone through at that time uh, had put him in the awkward position of being, as it were, a prophet of a new era in human consciousness. Not that, well, anyway, he was stuck with it. You don't have to be uh, virtuous or saintly person to be a prophet. You just need to, for some reason, see the truth as it stands, and have the audacity to tell somebody about it. So it's like the Old Testament prophets. Lots of them were just plain assholes. Okay, doesn't doesn't matter. You can be an asshole and uh, be a prophet. A prophet just needs to see the truth about a moment in human or cultural uh, history or evolution, and to see clearly that new shift in consciousness, and then just have the audacity and the courage and the stupidity to tell everybody about it. It's like Constance. Okay, when uh, for many, 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 many years there was a time of the month where Constance absolutely saw objective reality the way it was. She saw the truth, she knew the truth, and she wasn't afraid to tell everybody the truth. And now she's just that way all the time. Okay, but anyway, so it dawned on Crowley that, my God, this is a I'm seeing a huge leap in human consciousness here. It's not going to be great for the world. It'll be traumatic and catastrophic, like all these leaps of consciousness are. That's the effect that they have on culture as a whole. But he's accepting the mantle of that prophethood at this time. And so he's reviewing the 10 secret joys of the Master and the 22 secret instructions of the Master. And those 10 and 22 are sort of a recap of how everything manifests as projected upon the classic Kabbalistic diagram, the Tree of Life. And yesterday we read the 4 virtues of the Master: light, life, love, and liberty. And uh, and the 5th one, corresponding to like spirit, is law. Okay. And today we're breaking through to even more transcendent, almost pre-manifested levels that we might think of as corresponding to the mechanics of pre-existence. Okay, and here we get into this concept of Pan. Now, Pan is this kind of a lusty satyr kind of god of rustic Thrace, little horned guy, and he was mischievous, and he injects an element of chaos into everything, but he's really, really, really horny too. Okay, and that horniness, his name Pan means all. Okay, totality. So he's transcendent. Okay, in one way of looking at things, before there were the gods, there was Pan. Okay, but the classic story about Pan comes from Ovid's Metamorphoses, and I printed a little excerpt from that this morning. And Syrinx was a nymph, okay, and she was, and of course when Pan saw her, he was absolutely totally in love, but she was dedicated to Diana and was she wasn't going for any hanky-panky, in other words. So Pan was chasing her all around the place. When Pan's pursuit of Syrinx was almost succeeded, Syrinx implores her sisters to transform her. Just as Daphne before, when Pan reaches her, she has been changed into reeds. And here's a quote. But she despised the prayers of Pan and fled through the pathless wilds until she had arrived the placid Landon's sandy stream, that little river lake, whose waves prevented her escape. There she employed her sister nymphs to change her form, and Pan, believing he had caught her, held instead some marsh reeds for the body of the nymph. And while he sighed, the moving winds began to utter plaintive music in the reeds. So sweet and voice like the poor Pan's, that the poor Pan exclaimed, quote, "Forever this discovery shall remain a sweet communion binding thee to me," and thus explains why the reeds of different lengths, when joined together by cementing wax, derive the name Syrinx from the maid. Okay, panpipes, and there's 7 of them. Just like 7 notes in an octave, and 7 like primary colors. And okay. And now we're getting to the section in the heart of the master, very short. It's just called Syrinx and Pan. Now comes the sound of the fall of snowflakes and rose petals, and it is the twinkling of the feet of a young maiden dancing. And the music is the whisper of the wind among the pines upon the hill, and that is the breath of the panpipe in the mouth of the master. And all in one, it is the universe in manifestation. Also, I hear the 7-fold song thereof. Now, this sound, the all in one, might be viewed as what the Hindus would call the primary vibration, Om. And breaking that Om into its first subdivisions, we would first see the 7 notes expressed, or that's one way of looking at it. The next little section is called Carmen, C-A-R-M-E-N. And here we see the landmarks of the Tree of Life itself summarized. By wisdom, and we know wisdom is the second sephira on the Tree of Life up in supernal triad. By wisdom forms he matter and space and time, experience to sublime. By virtue spends he his own life through all, mercy, majestical. By energy revolves he all in stress of change, the limitless. By order gathers he the worlds of light in beauty infinite. By love destroys he all to recreate, fresh fantasies to fate. By love destroys he all to recreate fresh fantasies to fate. By reason reckons he his governance, the wonder of his chance. By purity absolves he all his will from every image of ill. In silence he resumes each perfect part to rapture of his heart. His, in whose truth of nature all things are, the still and shining star. Now tomorrow, for Sunday school, we're going to finish up the Heart of the Master. We haven't read all the Heart of the Master. Remember, the entire first section, the vision. I've left that to your devices. But this is part 3, the Temple of Truth, and this is where Crowley sort of outlines the momentum of the Maguses that preceded him and this new aeon. So that will be Sunday school for tomorrow. But today is Saturday. Class is dismissed early today, and we'll see everybody tomorrow for Sunday school. Please, thank you all for registering. Many of you have registered for the invocation workshop coming up on the 25th. Please, I encourage you not to wait to the last minute to register for that, because I go crazy the days directly before these Zoom seminars. I mean, I literally go crazy. I'm putting things together and trying to coordinate with the producer in Australia, and time again, many later or last minute registrations fall through the cracks while I'm so distracted. So please, it's invocation, the importance of magical invocation. That's coming up on Wednesday, August 25th. It'll be live at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. But rest assured, if you're registered, you'll also get the link to the recording of it afterwards. You can play it over and over and over again as many times as you like. But anyway, I can't stress enough that early registration at this point is highly desirable, okay? Until tomorrow in Sunday school, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.